everyone. If you've been following me for a while, you would know that for the last couple of weeks, I've been here in the United States. And I've been here helping family and taking care of a very serious matter here. However, this trip is coming to a close. And as of next week, I will be back in Australia. Woohoo. But let me tell you, of all the videos I've done this year, this very well could be the most important video I think I've ever done. I would encourage you to absolutely stay to the end, please. Because let me tell you, there's going to be some very important stuff in here. And the reason why is because I know a lot of you folks have reached out to me and basically expressed your frustration in terms of how do I talk to my friends? How do I talk to my family? They don't listen. They don't get it. Well, there's a reason for this. And well, that's what this video is about, is I'm going to tell you exactly why I think of what's going on is going on. So that being said, boy, what a crazy election year this is. And of course, we've been saying it all year. We knew it was going to be, and it's definitely proven as such. That being said, I want to refer to an interview I saw last week with J.D. Vance. Man, this was a whopper. He had a lot of stuff to say, but probably the most important thing about it was, well, let's just say the interruptions. Now, I'm going to play a little short clip of this video, and then we'll come back and we're going to discuss it. So here it is. Pay attention.
You just accused me of inciting violence against the community when all that I've done is surface the complaints of my constituents, people who are suffering because of Kamala Harris's policies. Are we not allowed to talk about these problems because some psychopaths are threatening violence? We can condemn the violence on the one hand, but also talk about the terrible consequences of Kamala Harris's open border on the other hand. Now, let me just fact check a couple of other things that you said, Dana, because it's important. You said that all of these migrants are in the country legally. They are in the country through what's called temporary protective status.
Right.
That is when Kamala Harris waved a magic amnesty wand, taking people and giving them legal status. That is not to say that they're here legally. That is a terrible indictment of her amnesty policies that have further opened the border and further caused
not illegal.
terrible migration into this country.
You might not agree with the policy, and obviously you don't, which is totally fair and legitimate. There are policy disagreements all the time, but the fact is it is the law because President Biden and Vice President Harris are. But I don't want to frankly go down this conversation about policy
Dana,
because
you made a point. You don't. I agree. You don't want to talk about policy.
No,
Dana,
what I want to talk about
instead of about the fact,
Senator,
that
it was
Harris,
your distraction.
Dana, granted amnesty.
You were the one who started talking about eating dogs and cats.
Level.
You were the one who brought this
my
up.
Constituents
The president
were the
said it
ones
to
who talked about
60
eating
million
dog and
people.
cats, and I talked about it because you were ignoring this community. My constituents talked about it.
Have you been
to
Springfield?
It's my responsibility to surface their concerns when the American media
Have you been to
ignores it.
Springfield?
Dana, I've been to Springfield probably 100 times in my life.
How about
I've
recently,
taken my children
since
to
you've
get
heard
ice
this?
cream at Young's Jersey Dairy.
Have you heard recently since you've gotten these calls?
Have I been in the last 4 days?
No, I'm
I haven't
talking
been
about
in the last 4 days, but I've
since
talked to
you've
a lot
gotten
of
these
people
calls
in
from the
Springfield, Dana,
constituents.
and they're telling me this stuff is happening. Dana, would you like to ask me questions and then let me answer them, or would you like to debate me on these topics? I noticed that when you had Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, you gave them multiple choice answers to the questions that you asked, and you allowed them to answer the questions. I'm happy to be here to talk about policy, but if you're going to interrupt me every single time that I open my mouth, then why am I even doing this?
So did you catch all that? I hope you did. Let me tell you, this is very endemic of the situation that I see happening in the United States right now. I mean, it's evolved or devolved to this point where it's like, everybody has an opinion about it. And really, people don't know what a healthy debate is. People don't want to have a conversation. All they want is to be heard. That's it. That's all they care about. And if they have to talk over you and interrupt you to do so, then so be it. But all they want to do is take that information or that way of thinking that they have, and they want to get it out, and then they basically want to run away and go, la, 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 I'm not listening to you. I'm dead serious. This is crazy town stuff going on here. Shouldn't these people be professional about it? I don't get it. Nothing can be done when you've got two people butting heads just going at it like that. And how many of you who have reached out to me have tried to approach your friends or your family members to have an opinion completely contrary to what you have to offer? Okay, so we've sort of identified the problem, but I think we need to dig a little bit deeper here. And what I want to share with you today, and this is really the point of this whole video, is I want to share a conversation I had. I wouldn't even call it a conversation, but somebody I engaged with on Yahoo. Now, say what you want about Yahoo. I go there just because I consider it an alternate piece of news. However, I always go to the comments, and when appropriate, I will try and engage and add something to it to maybe at least try and brighten up the conversation somehow. Well, let me share this one with you. Here it is. Now, this article was in regards to, I can't remember what the headline was, but it was in regards to basically they were saying that Trump, the second assassination attempt, that was Trump's fault because he's out on the golf course playing golf. It's his fault. Well, the truth of the matter that I think is that this is almost normalizing assassination attempts. That's not right. That's not normal. But who am I to say, right? Well, let me read to you one of the comments that was in this article. To all the heroes against Trump, he is winning in Nevada. Just saw a report that they are excited for him there. Friends, the chance of him winning this election is great. The fact that he has done and said all that he has, yet he is still even in the polls with a decent human being who says and does nothing like Trump does. She's talking about Kamala here. Tells me he will win. Something is wrong with many Americans that they like Trump. But when do we move on from trying to win against them? And when do we realize we must do something about them? Trump isn't going away, folks, even if Harris were to win. Just look at how he governed as a private citizen and took the GOP border bill by Langford. Even if Harris wins, he and them, meaning the, I guess conservatives, don't go away. What can we do about it? This is exactly the kind of thing that I'm talking about. This is the type of language that is fomenting this dissent within America where it's like, hey, we got to go do something about it, if you know what I mean. So here's what I wrote, just a very simple quip, because I wanted to dig. What are we doing here? So I wrote, so when you say, we must do something about them, what are you saying? Well, he goes on. He says, I don't know. I don't prefer violence, so that isn't my true intent. But trying to reason with, be kind to, model logic for, and plead with conservatives and Trump supporters is not working. We've tried to change the liberal side's leader to appeal to more people. We felt that if so many were against Biden, let's find someone people can get excited about, which let me interject here. By the way, the Democrats didn't even get a chance to vote for someone to run for office. They basically inserted Kamala Harris. So let's keep that in mind. We felt that if so many were against Biden, let's find someone people can get excited about, but no, conservatives got meaner. Okay. We can't even try to change our candidate to make things better because conservatives do not want peace. Conservatives do not want peace. Okay. Conservatives only want violence and harm to come to their opponents. I don't know how much longer my side can remain calm, kind, professional, honest, and all the other things we expect in a civilized democracy and republic. Conservatives are pushing us, acting like they did when Lincoln won. How much longer can cities like Springfield be terrorized by conservatives and their propaganda? How many women must suffer and perish due to conservative evil? How many little girls must remain pregnant because of conservatives? And how much aid and comfort provided to our adversaries by conservatives must we tolerate? Honestly, John, to answer the question of what I mean, I think you'll find the answer on the conservative side. If they keep ramping it up as they have since the day Trump came down the escalator calling a certain group of people really bad names, then we'll have to meet our foe. No? Do you think decent people are going to forever tolerate conservative danger? Conservative danger. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't even address this one ad lib. So let me just read to you my response to this, and understand too, I really was not trying to incite anybody. I tried to see this really from an outsider's perspective, because I know by me living in Australia, and this is very true, I get in different information because I'm not in America. I am not under the principality that's here. So therefore, I'm seeing things in a much different light. So here's the response. Before I truly respond, allow me to preface this by saying, while I am American, I have been in Australia the last 15 years with a handful of visits. I'm also visiting now, so my perspective will be quite neutral. However, I have been watching from afar, so my perspective is quite different. The America of the 70s and 80s is a vivid memory for me. We didn't use language like radical left or right, or conservative danger, or liberal danger for that matter. There is an agenda for certain, but it's not what you think. I don't get the same news that you do, so believe this or don't, but there is a plan for global government, a global currency, and even a global religion. The USA is the last domino that needs to fall. So what better way than to have it implode? And it's hot buttons like women's rights, LGBTQ, and the border, and many others used to divide the United States. Trump is also divisive with his language. Some days things would go better if he would say less. But that's the point. People above and beyond the Trumps and the Bidens and the Obamas, they want the division. Now, allow me to say something controversial. I was in the USA in 2018, and I could not believe what I saw. In general, people had jobs, gas was cheap, and there was a surreal happiness I saw. Yes, people hated Trump, and you can say it was because of Obama, but I can't agree with that, as I was also back in 2015, and so many people were starting conversations with how bad things were. Point the finger at whomever, but this is what I saw, and it's true. One man or woman will not change much, but what I am personally for is adherence to the Constitution, and perhaps government staying out of my business just let me work and live. And this is why I've been in Australia for so long. I don't get messed with. I'll finish with this. When we are dogmatic in our thinking, it closes the door for outside opinion. And all I have seen in the short time that I've been back is everyone wants to be heard and then run away with their hands on their ears. It's immature and it's unproductive. I applaud you for your well thought out response, but the American on the other side is not your enemy, even if it seems as such. And I assure you, this is exactly what the people really running the USA want you to think. So if you can, just take a step back and try and see all the levers being pulled from an objective helicopter view. I assure you, there's much more behind the scenes than what you are shown. Folks, I thought that was a fairly well thought out response. I tried not to attack, tried not to be pious, just really, and I didn't want to bring the Bible into it too, even if that is some of, the truth of what's going on. But I thought I was pretty clear. Well, here's the response. There is a certain kind of arrogance detectable in those responses to me, mainly the assumption that I'm not informed in order to arrive at my conclusions, or that they come from some lack of a worldview. I am 80 years old. I was born when Hitler ruled. His results were in my daily news. I have managed money and been a financial analyst for decades. I spent time busting fraud. I have been an educator as a result of my work. I have traveled almost all of America to where it is easier to say where I've not been, and I've traveled America for decades for my research, some of which is published. I am invited to lecture across the US and Canada. All of this, plus my expertise in our Constitution, system, and state, are what make me write my posts here. But most of all, I write them because I am a Lincoln wide awake and a true believer in the arsenal of democracy, and I am determined to not let the efforts of it go and the grand army of the Republic go to waste. A problem for folks abroad is they assume that conservatives represent all Americans. Don't lecture me on my country or the globe around which I have managed money, and my equities averaged 10 to 13% during Obama, as much as they did Trump. I bought and sold a business, sold for profit during Obama, and Obama repaired us after Bush. GOP. Cheers. So I guess you would understand why I didn't really respond to that. I mean, there's no point. I mean, when you start off by saying that I was arrogant in my response, and yet his whole response itself is arrogant through and through, you know, what do you do with that hand grenade, basically? Well, you let it sit is what you do. What this made me realize is that there's no point. There's no point in arguing with someone like this. I mean, I could take a position of trying to win an argument and you know, asking, you know, engaging questions. There's no point to it. And let me tell you why. Because we do not fight against, we fight against the powers and principalities of this earth. And by reading this, folks, let me tell you, it made me understand that what we're against right now, folks, this is demonic. 100% demonic. This is why none of this makes sense at all. You know, you try and say things to friends and family that, you know, maybe I hope you're trying to approach it with a loving and logical approach, and yet, you know, it's almost like, you know, you're telling them, I'm telling you, the sky is blue. No, John, it's green. I know it's green. I'm sure you have been bashing your head in, coming against this. The reason why you've gotten nowhere with it is because I believe it is spiritual. It is demonic. That's what's going on here. How do we fight against the demonic? Well, the only way, folks, is through prayer. Prayer is the only thing that is going to break through. Don't even bother having the engagement with these people to begin with, because there is a veil of deception that is going on here. And unless you are on your knees and you are praying about it, praying to God to break that veil that is over them, you're never going to get through to those people. Folks, I can't say that I have much hope for people here in the United States right now after what I've seen. But what I am saying to all of you is grab as many people as you can. These are the only people that you can take with you. I don't know when Jesus is going to come for the rest of us, for us who are putting our faith in Christ. But that being said, we've got to be going. I want to be right there at the finish line, you know, trying to reach out to people. I mean, this is why I do this channel. I'm trying to encourage you. I'm trying to give you information so you're armed, so you know how to go into battle. Because, folks, this is a war, but it is not a conventional war. It is a spiritual war. We've got to get that through our head. Read Ephesians 6. I don't have it in front of me. I'll put it down here below. Ephesians 6 is how we approach this. And I'm telling you right now, you are not going to reach the people, because in our human self, we can do nothing. But with Christ, we can do everything. And only the Holy Spirit and prayer is the only thing that's going to break through and get to these people. Folks, that is my word of the day. I really, really hope this meant something to you folks. You know, this is what I've observed. I've observed a lot more stuff while I'm here, but really this is going to be my takeaway while I've been here in the U.S. Folks, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here. It's been a long one. I'm sorry if it was too long. Pray for me. I've got something going on now. I'm hoping to do a lot more videos like this. I want to reveal that. Got to let it marinate a little bit, but just pray for me in the abyss. Help John. God help John. That's what we need going on here. That being said, folks, if you haven't already, if you like this video, please pass it on to somebody. If you think it'll encourage someone, please pass it on to them. I hope it just has just been a light bulb moment for some of you. That's it, folks. That's it. See you guys next time in Australia next time.